Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
First down and 10 at their own 10-yard line. Tevin Coleman with some running room. Tevin Coleman down the sideline. Coleman, one man to beat. Tevin Coleman's going to go 90 yards, and Indiana takes the lead. Randall L. scrambles, started off the pitch, keeps it himself down the sidelines. He could go. Antoine Randall L. touchdown. Rory going to the single coverage, end zone. Touchdown! He hits Cooper again.
Welcome, episode 252. Just when you thought the show was back in full swing, everybody was going to be here. Everybody's Brandon, Brack, Seth, everything, right? Nope, that's not right. So if you could not have imagined a worse combination of people, it's me and Seth. So no Brandon, so no real good entertainment, I guess. I'll try. Seth usually just does it naturally, but what's up, Seth?
I totally forgot why I didn't want to record last week and why I was late to hopping on today. My quote unquote difficulties I texted you about. This is the classic podcast producer, spouse of podcast producer argument, and it's the it's a studio. No, it's a guest room. No, it's a studio. No, it's a guest room. And we had guests, and so I had to completely tear down the rig and totally forgot about it. And so for the last 10 minutes, that's what I was doing, putting that thing back together.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, welcome back.
And by the way, it's always a guest room. You know better.
I know how you roll. Yes. All right. Oregon. Let's talk Oregon. That's what we're here to talk about. You guys know that because you clicked on the show. You saw the show title. That's what we're here to talk about. That's what we're doing. We're previewing our teams. If you're just jumping in here, new to the program, we're just doing this just to pass some time through June and July. We're going to talk way too early previews of the teams. As we go through the season, we do legit previews of every game and legit post games. Whether or not they are actually good, legit good, that's up for you to decide. But this is going to be all right. We've got a decent amount of information. I'm very intrigued by this team. This is game 6 of the season. It follows the first bye week of the season, which unfortunately we'll get to as well as the same bye week as Oregon. So there's no advantage at all for IU. Before we hop in, we'll get to a little bit, I guess you could call it news. It's not recruiting, so we could talk about it. It's not stadium improvements, so we'll talk about it. We have 3 Hoosiers. I put Phil Steele. It's not Phil Steele. It's what was it? Walker something? All-American team, preseason All-American team. 3 Hoosiers made the 2 teams. D'Angelo Pons.
Walter Camp.
D'Angelo Pons makes the first team. He's also been thrown into the very first mock draft by an ESPN analyst, and he's been thrown into the first round on that too. And then you've got Kamara and Surratt on the second team. A little bit of disrespect to Aiden, but he'll be all right. He'll be fine. Tell me what that means, Seth.
Have you ever met my friend Jack Shit? It's fantastic. It's great. Anytime you get I feel like I say this every summer. Anytime you get any kind of pre-season pub, anytime you, especially as IU, especially coming off last year, I feel like redundant saying this, you gotta love the momentum, you gotta love the respect, but ultimately it doesn't mean shit unless you deliver on it. And so you gotta hope that these guys have a pedigree. These are all guys you trust and you're glad are coming back, and you fully expect them to replicate, if not improve upon what they've done before. So it's a great track record, kind of highlighting.
I honestly think if you were to ask anybody that knows anything about this football team,
they also seem like no-brainers, right?
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Give me the 3 best players on the team. Maybe don't say them in that order. I'm not saying that. I love D'Angelo Pons. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, I think you're going to hear Pons most of the time. You're going to hear Kamara most of the time. You're going to hear Surratt most of the time. You'll get some Mendoza thrown in there. You'll get some Carter Smith. You'll get some Aiden Fisher. But those are easily the three biggest nationally known names, I would say, on the team. So makes sense. Means nothing. Exactly. I was going to say I've met his brother Sam, but no, I've never met.
That's a joke 5 people will get. Yay.
Yes. All right. Into the schedule preview. Game 6 at Oregon, Saturday, October 11th. The time to be determined. TV to be determined. I don't know if you're handling Brandon's favorite part of this to try to figure out what time this game is going to be.
This has got to be an eyeball game. I haven't looked at the other matchups.
3:30.
I mean, it definitely won't be a noon because it's West Coast and they won't start a game at 9 o'clock. But yeah, this has to be either a 3:30 or a prime time. This will likely be, we'll get into this, but 2 pretty highly ranked teams, you would think.
Yeah, you would think so. Well, I don't know if I think that, but we'll
right.
see.
I'm just saying, popular opinion.
Yes,
I don't know what that means.
Very popular opinion.
I don't know
Oregon
what that means.
Will be a very good football team, and we'll get into their schedule and over under wins. I think, and I just imagined it. Here we are with me, just like you're talking about TV and everything else. I could just see this game being a night game, NBC. I can see the colors right now. I'm visioning the colors and it's perfect for that time slot. So, all right, we'll get right into it. Series history. This one closer than most. They've played 3 times. Oregon 2, IU 1. The previous matchup took place 21-ish years ago. IU winning 30-24. We've talked about this game before. I can't remember when we talked about it. But I don't know how we won the game at all. I got into the stats a little bit today. Quarterback Matt Lavecchio.
The second bullet points why. That's what.
Yeah. Second, Matt Lavecchio. This game, you know what this game reminds me a lot of is Michigan State Dexter Williams game. Well, like the one that was in the snow where we had no business winning that game stat wise.
I mean, as a Bears fan, I've seen a lot of games like this with stat lines like this. So I don't know.
IU won the time of possession. If that means anything, that could also be associated with the second bullet point here. But let's talk Matt Lavecchio. We led the team in both passing and rushing with some insane stats, right? 6 of 18 for 71 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He also carried the ball 12 times for 23 yards. Those are the leading passing and leading rushing numbers for the game. The leading receiver, Courtney Roby, had 60-something of the 71 yards that Matt threw for. The big part of it, one of Seth's favorite quarterbacks, Kellen Clemens for Oregon, throws 3 interceptions and is part of the 7 total turnovers that took place that day from the Ducks. If I remember right, it wasn't like a completely inclement weathered game or anything. I think it was just one of those fluke can't hold on to the football kind of things.
Yeah, that's a contagion. And then I had not thought of the name Kellen Clemens since probably since he was on the Jets. And then I looked up famous Oregon alumni, and he was one of the random heads that popped. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Let me ask a random Oregon question. Hopefully it's not in your sack. When was the first time, because you and I, prior to Oregon joining the Big Ten, and maybe you kind of still are on it, where I was kind of my second team was Oregon, right? There was no association with IU. We were never going to really play each other outside of a bowl game. Yep. They were good. They were fun to watch.
Good colors, good marketing.
Yeah, exactly. My first association with Oregon came with, and you might have to fact check me on this, but I think it's right. College football 2003 had Joey Harrington on the front of it.
It might have
Oregon uniform.
It might have been earlier than that.
Maybe
that sounds
2003 or 2002, somewhere in there. That was my first one. I was like, you know what? I kind of like the vibe here and the jerseys, and I'm sure that we're not
playing late at night, so you're a night owl, so you're like, oh, this is my prime time. This is great. 10 o'clock games.
Cool. High school. Yeah, high school. You're staying up late. Yeah. Find whatever you can watch. What was your?
It was Achilles Smith right before that. I was going to talk
Okay.
about him later because his son is on the team, Achilles Smith Jr. If you couldn't identify which player was related to him,
I saw his name. Yep.
But yeah, he was the one who tons of hype. Obviously, the NFL career did not pan out, but he was just an electric quarterback and was one of those first kind of in that Cordell Stewart kind of like. And I know that Cordell Stewart was even before this, but the like sexy, like runner, passer, just kind of had a little bit of everything, gunslinger in a weird way.
Oh yeah.
And, it was a lot of fun to watch. So that was probably but then Joey Harrington was like the coming out party for Oregon. It was like now everybody's aware of them. It's not just this fringe team that has, cool uniforms and one player that got drafted really high. It was, oh, these guys are like fringe national title contenders. And have pretty much been for 25 years since. Is it
just Nike? Like, is it just 100%. Because of Nike, because of Phil Knight and everything? Okay.
And ducks are cute. Ducks are cute. Yeah. Yellow and green makes a really nice blend together. Yeah. It's all, it's a track school, bro.
Yeah. I saw that track.
It's awesome.
That track was insane. Yeah.
But it'll always be a track school, and it's the weirdest thing in the world. It's like they have all this money, but in my mind, because that's what I grew up with, I guess, it's always Bowerman and Phil Knight and track.
Yeah. So you would, they're considered, I guess I would consider them over the last 25 years, one of the major powerhouse programs in the country.
Full service.
Yeah. When you think major powerhouse program in the country, you think massive stadium, right? You think like crazy coverage everywhere. This is probably, and no pun intended, the one team that has flown under the radar, I think, nationally. Always seems to be an underdog in any of the big games. The national championship against Jameis Winston in Florida State. I think that was that game.
It's not a huge media market. It's it's West
Tiny
Coast
stadium, right? Smaller stadium than I use.
Somewhere
around there.
Even their basketball stadium isn't huge. It's awesome, but it's not huge.
The court sucks.
Yeah.
But
you got issues.
Yeah.
With the court,
Autzen Stadium is. I've got other issues.
It's
Autzen
gorgeous.
Stadium's incredible. Yeah. Don't take my hit on the stadium capacity as anything against the stadium. It's just, you think Tennessee, Alabama, USC, keep going. Ohio
it's
State,
beautiful,
Michigan,
and it's full.
Massive stadiums. Yeah.
What more can you want? Yeah.
So, all right, moving on. Current streak, IU is on a 1-game winning streak against IU or against Oregon. The largest margin of victory, only 8 points this time around. 1964, Oregon beat IU 29-21 in Bloomington. Let's talk current Ducks program. Preseason over-under wins. This is fat.
And then
10.5.
Yep.
And they are, I want to say, in the top 5 over-under wins in the country. DraftKings has the over on that as plus money. So we can go through their schedule. I've implemented a new color system.
I see this. This is very effective.
From what I consider to be easy W's, a 50-50 or rivalry game, no matter how good the team is, it might cause an issue. A tough game, and then an automatic loss. There are no red automatic losses on this schedule. You said it in the group chat.
Not even a sniff.
Yeah, you said easiest Big Ten schedule. I
haven't compared it, but there's just no heavy hitters.
So we'll go through it. They're going to start 3-0. Montana State at home, Oklahoma State at home, and if you haven't been following Oklahoma State football, not great recently. So that you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it,
they'll run for 200 yards somehow, though.
Yeah. I think this Oregon team should handle it. At Northwestern, they should take care of business there. I do have kind of the orangish color on Oregon State because I don't know. They're not in a conference. Oregon State's over-under number, just because I happen to be on that site when I was looking at it, is 7.5, I think. So they're not a terrible team, but they probably have a trash schedule.
They play a Mountain West essential schedule, yeah.
Okay. And then they've got two of what I'm considering the tough games. That's at Penn State and then IU at home. The rest of the
back
schedule
to back
from
with the
there,
bye week in between.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. Rest of the schedule from there for them should be fairly easy. I've got at Rutgers as a win, Wisconsin kind of a toss-up, but it is in Oregon. That's a big advantage for them. At Iowa, Minnesota, both as wins, and then two rivalry games. I don't know if USC and I know Washington is, but I don't know if USC is a direct rivalry with Oregon, but they're a former Pac-12 rival, so I'll consider that. And it's USC. They've got the number one recruiting class coming in next year. They're a blue blood program. Granted, I think half the team now plays for Oregon, but yeah, talk about their schedule. Talk about where you're coming out with it. I don't know.
No, there's no way.
I don't know where to put it.
No way.
Clue.
The range I put on it when I texted you guys was, again, before even looking at the schedule, I go, this could be a 5-7 or a 10-2 team.
Yeah.
Because there's, again, we'll get into so many question marks, so many players who should be really good, but maybe haven't done anything yet. Again, feels like a redundant statement with a lot of these pods, but the thing that I was kind of bullish on you highlighting USC and Washington at the end of the season, and I was like, no, they should handle them pretty easily. But Oregon historically falters down the home stretch.
Yep.
I would shade to the under. I think again, 10. Again, they should be able to roll the ball out there with the athletes they have and win 8 of these games. 6.
Yeah, there's skepticism there, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit. Whether athletes or not, you gotta. There's not a whole lot of production.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting, and then the next thing that we're going to get into is the coach. He seems like a legit dude.
Yeah,
who's going to coach some dudes up, who's going to figure out what the other coaches couldn't get out of these guys and pull it out of them. I would say the under, but I could easily see this team going 11-1 too. Like now that I look at the actual schedule, I mean, if they don't lose at Penn State,
they could run it.
Yeah. Again, I think we'll talk about this later, but IU is a true 50-50 game probably on a neutral. I don't know, not true 50-50, but like close to 50-50. Then obviously being at Oregon, I would say that probably pushes a little bit, but I mean, I can't see a game where they're not favored except for Penn State.
They haven't stuck any of the crazy ESPN odds or anything on any of the games yet, have they?
I haven't started looking yet, but I just can't imagine. Probably Montana State's not even on here. I bet they probably have 17.5 on Oklahoma State early. I bet at Northwestern they're probably still 13.5. I'm looking at double-digit favorites probably the first 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden at Penn State, which depending on what Penn State does, I bet it'll be plus or minus 3 points either way. So
this could be really bad. I mean, this could be a really bad year for them. Could be, as we said. I mean, it's so hard to tell. We're not making predictions right now.
No.
That schedule could look tough. Wisconsin could be good. Iowa, I don't think so. USC, no. Washington's got some good stuff coming back.
They're trending up.
Penn State could be good. We could be good. Oklahoma State, maybe they pull some Mike Gundy magic again. Is he still there?
Yeah, rivalry games against Oregon State.
There's some tough games, but it's an easy Big Ten slate if you look at the whole field and
it's a best case scenario to have a crap shot team.
You know what's funny is that, sorry about that,
You're good.
is their 2 toughest games are at Penn State and at Iowa.
I would say IU's tougher than Iowa.
Well, I'm sorry, 2 toughest road games. Let me say that.
Sure.
At Penn State, at Iowa. Okay. And then they've got at Washington.
Right, which is sneaky, but
yeah. So let's look at IU's schedule. 3 toughest road games at Penn State, at Iowa, in this game. Maybe you can interchange that Washington game with that. I don't think so, but it's pretty similar there. The home schedule is way easier than what IU has at home. Outside of Michigan State, I think that the home schedule for IU is a little tricky. Maybe UCLA should be a little easy, but It's a tough schedule, man. That's enough schedule talk for now,
Yep.
or else we could spend all day on it. But yeah, let's talk a little bit of Dan Lanning. He's in his 4th season with a record of 35-6. I've got a random question because I looked up a lot of Dan Lanning stuff. I think I'm kind of a big fan of his. If you could have another Big Ten coach that's not Kurt Signetti,
Mhm.
why is it Dan Lanning?
He checks every single box for me. Every single one.
Yeah.
His pedigree is phenomenal. He has experience now at Oregon, which is unquestionable. What is it? 35-6, you said?
35-6. Yep.
The one thing is he has zero. I'm sure he's doing a fantastic job recruiting. But like, I can't remember what it was. I think it's in Weeds. They say the drugs sell themselves, Biscuit. Like, the people who want to go to Oregon are going to go to Oregon. Like,
Yeah.
you're not begging. You're not doing like the Jim Harbaugh sleeping in trees thing. Like, so I just really think that he's got it all. I'm sorry. So what I'm saying is I'm assuming he's a hell of a recruiter as well. Maybe he doesn't have to prove it at Oregon as hard as you would have to at other places, but he ticks every damn box for me, except for being a national champion. And, as a Purdue fan, as talking about IU, who the hell, the chances of we're going to get somebody who's, has national championship pedigree is beyond ridiculous. But
Yeah.
being that's the only box you haven't checked, 3 years into your coaching career or head coaching career, I mean, this is everything you want. And I'm looking again, we've talked about the Big Ten landscape of coaches, and they're all quality coaches. They're all good guys for the most part. But there's just not a lot of sexiness out there. It's like, again, even Ohio State guys aren't like going to bed at night dreaming about Ryan Day and have posters of him on the ceilings of their bedrooms. So
Ohio State fans do, the players don't.
So yeah, I just think of all the other Big Ten coaches out there, yeah, he's the guy you want and would love to have in your backyard.
Yeah. Well, I don't want him in my backyard. Prefer not to.
Yeah.
Coaching my football team, different story.
Sure.
All right, let's dive in. Offense. This is where all the confusion comes from.
Yeah.
So Dante Moore, he's going to take over for Dylan Gabriel, who's, what did I say? He's been taken to a senior living facility because he's like 1,000 years old, right?
The Cleveland Browns.
Oh, that's right.
Retirement facility.
He's there with Shadur.
Yeah, and if you listen to the
Flacco.
crackpot, was it TJ Hushmanzada? Apparently, it's down to Gabriel and Kenny Pickett now for number one quarterback that should do.
Flacco's not there. Where's Flacco? Is Flacco
he's there. Yeah.
Okay,
they're already out of the running. They were so unimpressive
that
it's down to Pickett. It's like TJ Hushmanzada. Okay, sure.
Classic Browns. So he's out. So Dante Moore's in. You guys might have heard that name. He's been nationally touted for a long time.
Top flight.
An Oregon kid, I think, or at least Oregon ties to the team.
He's Detroit.
Went to UCLA, and has gone back to. He might have committed. I think he committed to Oregon. I believe so. Decommitted, went to UCLA, played a little bit as a true freshman, and transferred last year. Played 5 games and got a red shirt. So he's a redshirt sophomore who has very little production going into his 3rd year. On the field at UCLA, he threw for 54%, 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. You've seen him, I'm assuming.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
The national media is incredibly high on this guy. He's got the intangibles. If you look at him on paper, you'll be impressed. If you look at his stats while playing actual football games, not so much. What's Dante Moore? What is this looking like? And why is Achilles Smith Jr. going to be the starting quarterback after
he's not the backup quarterback? Oh shit, I forgot his last name. He's got he's a great backup quarterback. Really guy you want to have. Felt like Trump saying that. I don't remember his name. Guy on your team though. That's what you want him. But yeah, the guy he reminds me of a little bit is Dylan Raiola. All the hype. I've heard so much about him for so long. But the two words, if you're going to ask me like, hey, what are two words to describe Dante Moore? And it's Ethan Gabers. There's a reason
He
why
got beat out by Gabers.
there's a reason why that guy was the quarterback that UCLA all of a sudden started doing well 2 years ago. I don't know how well they ended up, but they improved with him at quarterback. And then when the option was to stay at UCLA and fight Gabers for the starting spot, he bailed out and went to Oregon to sit behind Dylan Gabriel. So I bet the guy is probably going to end up being really, really good. But if he was that great, I don't know. I don't know. But all the quarterbacks change teams now, so it's like, okay, how do you can't hold that against them.
Yeah.
But that's how I remember it, at least.
So when you think inexperienced quarterback with a lot of hype, 10.5 wins preseason, you would think that skill players, right? You would think they've got a bunch of production coming back at the wide receiver room, tight end, running backs, talent everywhere, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, can I say there's no talent anywhere? No, there's talent there. But have they played any football, meaningful football, shown anything really? No. The top 2 wide receivers are gone. The top tight end is gone. The top running back is gone. They're got to replace their entire skill position group as far as the starters go. There's talent in recruiting. We've talked about that. Transfers are coming in from all over the place. The offensive line is really solid. You've got 2 really good tackles, one on the right side who you might know, Matt Bedford, former IU tackle, and then you've got Nevada transfer in what I've read is probably a top 5 overall first-round draft pick in Isaiah World on the left side. And then on the inside, they've added, as I said, a guy from USC. They've got a guy coming back, and then they've got an all conference center as well. So their offensive line will be good. They will have skill pieces. This is, I think, what I kind of agreed with you on. It could be 10-2, it could be 11-1, or it could be 6-6, 5-7. I mean, if things don't work themselves out, I mean, Dan Lanning can only coach so much, right?
Yeah.
The players have to be able to make the plays on the field. So anything else you want to add on their offense?
Yeah, I got a couple of things. Evan Stewart, who is the all-world everything receiver, tore his patellar tendon and is expected to be out all of the 2025 season. So that is just an absolutely devastating. He would have been the straw that stirred the drink of the Oregon offense. He would have been the safety blanket. He would have been the deep threat. He is, likely, I don't know, hopefully he comes back healthy, would have been a probably first or maybe early second round draft pick. So that guy is for real, but he's gone. So you're down to DeCorian Moore, who's a true freshman, who I expect to be an absolute stud. Sometimes receivers come in and immediately tear things up. Sometimes they take a little bit while to get going. But if you want to have a really good player, aside from quarterback, who is in a skill position, the best player you want is a left tackle. So I really think they're in a good spot with their whole offensive line. Again, the weak link might be Matt Bedford in that rotation. And again, that's not a negative. The other 4 guys are appear to be pretty good. Again, the tight end, Kenyon Sadiq, not a huge threat. They're really pushing Hughes as the running back, but I think Noah Whittington was the guy. Maybe he was at Utah. I can't remember where he was at, but he seemed to be like a guy who was getting things done. I wouldn't be surprised if they always seem to have a multi-back backfield, and they always find some freshman from somewhere who's going to come up and just be a speedster or a gadget guy, it feels like. So, there's going to be a player or two who's going to pop out of here that's not necessarily in that top 5 receiver or maybe the top 2 or 3 running backs on the 2 deep, but they're going to figure out a way to situationally use them. And I believe in Dan Lanning and his ability to, at least his, coordinators, to put their players in a good position to take advantage of it. I don't think Achilles Smith Jr. will be seeing the field very much. But it is Austin Novosad. That is the guy who is the backup quarterback. Again, if Dante Moore, who has not always been the healthiest player, has any injury issues, anything like that, that is a guy who is a capable backup and somebody who I believe was very coveted. So, they have some depth. They have some injury issues already. When we talk about the 5-7, 10-2, again, 5, I don't believe in 5-7 now that I've looked at this schedule. I really think it's like 7-5 and 10-2, or somewhere in there, probably closer to the 10. But again, you're in a good position that I don't know, man. If they don't get in their own way, they're going to win a lot of games just by default. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, scheme's going to get them a long way. The talent's there. We've said it 1,000 times already.
Well, the recruiting talent, at least.
Yeah.
The production
haven't seen it. Exactly. Yeah. You haven't seen it. The defense, on the other hand, a little bit more production coming back. Again, lost a lot of talent. When you're on a team like Oregon, you're going to lose a lot, and you're going to come back and fill it right back in. But they do bring back defensive end, and this is where you usually step in, but I'll try. Mateo Ugalele.
No. What is it? Ungalele? That's DJU's brother.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's him.
Yeah, Mateo.
Yep. Okay. 10.5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss last year. So really good stud on the end. They've got some really good players.
Freakish.
Yeah.
Great body,
really
fast
good.
Twitch, everything you want in a D end.
But behind, I guess next to him, not a ton there. They lost a big guy in the middle at that's going to do a lot of big run stuffing. Again, they got another guy from USC that's coming in that should be able to start immediately, but he was injured all of last season, so who knows how rusty he'll be.
Barry Alexander should be a stud if he's healthy.
Yes. The other defensive end, really good as well, but not a lot of production and stats there. Behind them, though, the linebacking core is incredible, right? You've got Bruce Bocher, who comes off of 94 tackles last year at middle linebacker. And then they got two guys who kind of play on the outside. They don't really run a 4-3, I would say. It's
roughly a 3-3-5 hybrid.
Yeah. With Bocher in the middle, and then you've got where are my notes? I lost where I was at. Devin Jackson in there, and then here we go again.
Tuioti.
Tuioti's the one that's going to play more along standing up on the line.
Yeah.
And you'll see him up more towards the line of scrimmage than the other two. And then the secondary, the corners, okay. I mean, Taron Jackson, you guys might know that name, Northwestern transfer, really good player. He's going to come in. The other guy on the other side, they don't really know yet. It'll be another returning player, but not anybody that steps out. One of the safety positions as well, going to be kind of a fight and camp spot. But the other guy that's there, and this one's probably going to hurt Seth's heart a little bit. Probably my favorite Purdue player, if I had to pick one. Purdue transfer Dylan Thieneman. Thieneman?
I love how you're just butchering all of these. Yeah.
Thieneman. The kid from Zionsville. He's back there, and he's a stud. Just a stud player. And I'm glad that he gets to go somewhere where he'll get like actual national recognition and hopefully end up in the NFL. So talk Duck defense.
So yeah, you butcher his name, and he's from Westfield, just like all of his other brothers too. Who
it's a green
provided
school.
Nightmares before.
It's a green school, and I was sticking with a theme.
Yes. No, he's obviously kind of Bear Alexander, if he's healthy, should be great. Ungalele should be really, really good. Again, I think the linebackers are more kind of stat whores than they are like NFL prospects. And again, that's not a negative. You want your linebackers to be getting a lot of tackles and being involved a lot. Thieneman obviously is, what was he, the number 1 defensive transfer portal prospect? I've seen him anywhere from 28 to 35 in a lot of preseason mock drafts. The one thing about Oregon is they play a completely different brand of defense than they did at Illinois. At Purdue. Sorry, I was thinking of the predecessor to where he was before at Purdue. See, I've tried to black out most of those 2 years already. Anyways, but yeah, it's a completely different defense. He was playing 20 yards off the ball. He was really a true like center field free safety.
Yeah.
He's going to be a little bit more closer to the line of scrimmage, probably in the 10 to 12 yard ballpark. So
That's where he thrives right there.
Right. I was going to say, which will probably get him in the mix even more. And the imagine to actually have the talent playing around him that he kind of lacked at Purdue. I'd really like to see how he plays. I bet his stats take a step backwards, but his draft stock and his actual, like probably his PFF grades just continue to skyrocket.
Yeah. It's funny if you go back, and I haven't done it for a while, but I remember it in person. I'm pretty sure I said some stuff to you during the game, the IU Purdue game last season. You could see that it was almost like they had him back to return a pooch punt. Like he was so far back in just their obvious last line of defense that he was literally on an island by himself. Nobody within 20 yards of either one of his arms, like no help at all. And chances are somebody was breaking through that defense at some point during that game, and he was exposed.
He was put in a lot of tough positions, and I think that I think he's really going to be primed to again break. It's hard to say he's going to break out. You've already had like a freshman All-American season. You've had I think he was an actual All-American as a freshman.
Actual All-American.
Yeah. So it's like, good for him. I wish him well. I have zero blame for, I think there's 3 different Purdue transfers who are trending in the first round of the draft picks between Max Clare,
Clare, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm doing it again.
There's I think there was a third one too, or maybe I'm still trending off of Nick Scorton from last year, but there's a lot of guys out there who are going to do a lot better and not gold and black.
Other Big Ten schools.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough Purdue talk, and that's enough really Oregon talk. But we'll do a quick overall look, and then we'll talk about what they're saying. And this one's not so bad, but we've talked enough about it. I'll just wrap this up real quick. Basically, they're loaded with talent everywhere. They're getting 10.5 wins from Vegas for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. People understand these teams better than we do. We care about IU and IU only. So when it comes to previewing these guys in the summer, there's not a whole lot of information that we've, accrued through the months. So, paying attention to their recruiting directly, all that stuff, everybody's doing that. That sets that stuff. So they know what's going on. So if Moore can live up to what he's supposed to be, Oregon will be right there. They'll fight for the Big Ten title. I think that game against Penn State could end up being a pretty crucial game for either one of those teams. Wish it was towards the end of the season so that we got that bigger stakes. But yeah, man, if they can get that offense in full gear, it's going to be a national championship type season probably. Not saying they'll win it, but they'll be in the CFP and put some pressure on some teams. So here's some thoughts from Ducks Wire. I'll just read it word for word. This is what they said about the team. It'll be very interesting to see how good Indiana is this year and whether or not they can find the same success they did a year ago with Curtis Rourke under center. They put Signetting. I did not type that. I copy pasted that. Kurt Signetting brought in California transfer Fernando Mendoza, who is expected to be one of the top passers in the conference. So if he can live up to expectations, the Hoosiers can make some noise once again. Either way, I think that the Ducks are able to win this game at home, which would be big if they end up losing to Penn State as I predicted, end quote. Score prediction, 33-24. Okay. I wasn't that upset with this. I only gave them 5 poops out of 10. I'll take it down. I'll give them 3 poops out of 10 because I think we've all kind of, without doing our preseason predictions, I think we've all kind of thought of the 3 tough road games that this was probably the toughest one. I'm not that scared with Penn State. We've got enough experience with Penn State. We've been to Penn State. We understand Penn State. Going to a completely foreign stadium for the program that hasn't been there in 21 years with a high level team could be a little difficult. So I'll give them 3 out of 10 poops. I'll take 33-24 if it's like, let's say it's 30-24 or something, and there's some sort of late score. 27-24, last second touchdown. Boom, there it is. There it is. That's it. I'd feel okay about that. All right. Let's take a break, and then we will be right back. This episode is brought to you by your go-to expert in the Indiana real estate market. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in a home right here in the heart of the Hoosier country, Garrett Lawton with True Blood Real Estate is the agent that you need. He's not just a real estate agent, he's a Hoosier fan just like you. And Garrett knows Indiana inside and out, from Bloomington to Indianapolis and everywhere in between. Plus, his personalized service makes the buying and selling process smooth and stress-free. So if you're ready to make a move, give Garrett a call at 317-410-8851 or visit his website at lawton-realty.com. Okay, we are back. Do I sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
You sound great, buddy.
Oh, the sound is coming through my computer now. I guess I can take these headphones off. All right. Hopefully there's no reverb on the record, but we'll see. I had a little issue with the headphones there. Seth, what's in your sack? And then we'll get out of here. We're pushing 40 minutes on the Ducks. So what's going on?
Yeah, so I had a couple. We've talked about several of these. I love looking at the rosters and figuring out who are the kind of famous names, who are the Indiana ties. Obviously, Taron Johnson and Dylan Thieneman are both from Indiana. Johnson went to North Central, and then obviously, as you incorrectly ascribed, Zionsville. Westfield is where Dylan went.
It's all Hoosier Crossroads Conference, bro. It's all Hoosier Crossroads Conference.
And both of them came from other Big Ten schools. I do think the other weird thing about this roster is so many of these players are transfers from other Big Ten schools. Bear Alexander was at USC. Moore was at UCLA. We got the Northwestern. We got IU. Bedford was at IU even. So there's so many of these different guys. Lots of Big Ten ties, lots of familiarity. Also, Oregon and IU have a lot of crossover games, so a lot of similar opponent games. So I don't recommend always watching a lot of other teams' games. Obviously, Oregon is one of the exceptions from back in the day. But again, if you want to watch a lot of their games to see how Indiana could potentially beat or be beaten by, a lot of those games are going to be similar road contests. So again, just a thing to pay attention to. And then my favorite other thing is looking at other Oregon famous alumni. And obviously we've talked about Bowerman, Phil Knight, but Caitlin Olsen from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I always forget, went to Oregon. And then we talked about quarterbacks, and you said Joey Harrington, I said Achilles Smith, and it goes back further than that. I feel like we've talked about this before, but Dan Fouts back in the 70s, he was one of the fun guys in the 80s in the NFL who never seemed to really win, but threw for a shit ton of yards. And then Sam Elliott and Ty Burrell from so a super famous mustache, and then that guy from
Sam Elliott.
Yeah, and then Modern Family. And then my other favorite thing is if you go to Wikipedia, it'll say what year they graduated, and I'll be like BS or MS or all the different distinctions. And not the vast majority, but so many more than on other schools where it's attended instead of graduate. It's attended 2012 to 2013, attended 2004 to 2006. So it's just very funny going through their famous people that a lot of them had affiliation and attended Oregon. Not so many graduated. Yeah. And
I know that feeling.
This was the one game I tried to talk my wife a little bit into potentially attending, because I always wanted to go to what I said, whichever team plays Oregon or Washington first, I wanted to go to. But yeah, not going to happen.
I think IU's at Washington next year.
I think that's right. And Purdue's expected to be at Oregon next year. I can't remember which, or maybe they're at Oregon this year.
We're already I've kind of put that in the ether of, hey, maybe we should go to Seattle next fall kind of thing.
That is the ranking of next stadiums we want to go to, right? either Oregon or Washington. That's
I'm hoping the Washington game. Washington always plays at Seattle at the Seahawks Stadium, or do they've got their own place?
no,
too?
they've got their own place. Yeah, I thought.
Okay. I'd like for them to play at whatever it's called, but okay, that's enough of that.
Yep.
All right, cool. Anything else?
Nah, no. My sad.
No. All right, cool. Well, thanks for checking out the pod. Again, guys, leave a review on any of the listening platforms that you're on. Follow us. That way you can get updates and downloads and all that stuff as soon as the episode drops. Season's right around the corner. What did I say? Less than 60 days away.
Mm-hmm.
This is the start of July. So once we get through this hot month, then we'll get August, and you guys can smell football right around the corner. So check us out on the socials. Twitter is, we're there. We announce when the podcast gets dropped. At this point, it's more active during the fall. But everything's at Hoosier or at Happy Hour IUFB. Same with Instagram. And be sure to, do all the things I told you to do. So until then, we will talk to you next week for whenever we play. I don't even remember the schedule. So cool. Till then, cheers.
Cheers.
Lates.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.